Good afternoon, everybody. Today is August 21st, 2016. I'm going to be going over the weekly trade ideas for this week. First on this week is Hrtx. Now, a lot of people may not like this chart particularly, but I do. I feel like the sell-off volume is a lot less than some of the buy-in volume that came in. And I do like this trickle-down effect here. I feel like it's holding on the 13 EMA. What I'd like it to do, being that it kind of pushed through over the downtrend, is I'd actually like it to pull back right down to the 13 EMA, giving me some more support from these areas here. So I'd like for it for a $20 entry. I know that the 50 EMA is right down here for a stop, but you don't have to go that far. I think 1950 for a stop if you get in at 20. And see if you can get that push back up here to about $23. And if the chart continues to give, I mean, obviously don't dump it. Just play it out as as if it's working for you. Reta now. This is a recent IPO, pulled back down, gave back about 50% of this move here from here to here. Chart came up, closed over its 50 EMA. You got an 813 cross up. I obviously don't like this inverted hammer right up at the top there, so I need a pullback off of that. So I'm thinking if you get it into the what is it right now? 1838. Thinking if you get it back into the 1725 range, you could pick up some right off the possible support right here from the 50 EMA, and then you can risk, I don't know, you can risk about 50 cents on this one if you pick it up at 1725 and see if it holds this area for any type of support here coming from this range. So it'll make sort of like an inverted head and shoulder pattern. And then if it does hold, I think you get 22 out of it. Dwti is the next one. Now I've been very bullish on oil, and I'm still short-term bullish on it for a little bit, but I am picking up sort of a trend here on Dwti. So I think if I get this one right down to the $60 level, I'm looking at $60.50 right down here. There's a possibility I may pick up some myself and try to test this area on the support right here from 1, 2 areas. So if it pulls back right into it, being that stochastics are all down here and cold, selling volumes kind of decreasing here. So maybe I might pick up some at $60.50 if it comes down there for a long shot. If we do catch the bottom of it could be a nice little, from $60 to $80 move. So it could be worth your risk for a couple points. It is Dwti, so you don't want to jump in there if you only have a 50-cent stop or something. Next chart is Tesla. I do like how Tesla stays above this 50 EMA, and this wedge is really tightening over here. It's been testing that breakout for a few times. I think it actually catches and goes through this time. Stochastics are about to cross over. MACD is just kind of flat. Volume's been flat. The entire market's been flat. So I think if the market decides to move up, you're going to get this push through on Tesla. So I like it down here into this, what do I have on the notes? 224 long. Risking a 1.5 point and see if you can get it up to 230 on Tesla. Next on the list is Gild. So there's an inverted head and shoulder down here that I'm kind of focused on. You got your MACDs crossover, stochastics crossover. Not a lot of volume yet, but the chart is kind of reacting off this inverted head and shoulder. You also have a major breakout here to definitely keep your eyes on. So if you can pick it up here into this during this $80.50 range, it's at $81 right now. So expect a little pullback on it. It's a nice bullish engulfing on that daily right there too. A little $80.50 entry. Do a tight stop on it because I think if it holds, it moves right away. Then you could always look for a possibility of it going through to 50 and testing this trend here. If the chart does obviously go through the trend, you wait for a pullback and you add on that. So if you could get the move on Gild, it's going to be an 80-50 entry, tight stop, maybe 50 cents, 75 cents. Try to get it up to 83 plus. Next on the chart is EDIT. Now, this is an interesting find, by the way. It's a very interesting chart. I definitely want to play this one myself. EDIT came all the way back down, Okay, stochastics are crossing up. Little decent volume here, not enough to make a big, big stink out of it. But Pearson candle at the bottom right there, coming into a support area from when it opened. I kind of like this range on EDIT. So what I want to do is I actually want to pick up some of this. I'm gonna try. Obviously, that 1865 trades very thin. Only 400,000 print in the last session right there, so it does trade thin. But I'm thinking if I get the 1825 on the pickup on this one, it's not really gonna. I'm not gonna have to risk too much down to the bottom over here. So if I catch 1825, I'm gonna probably grab some myself on this one. And if we get the move, I want to see it to about $22 plus. DGAZ. Dgaz. Now I'm watching this Dgaz here on this trend line breakout, stochastics cross up, volume's kind of decent. I've been watching natural gas for a couple days now, and I feel like maybe I'm about to get a nice rejection on natural gas there of its 13 EMA on the daily. So I'm watching for Dgaz for a long. So what I'd like to do on this one is I'd like to play a pullback on it. Try to get $8. It's at $8.40 now. This is obviously an ETF, and it's it trades off natural gas. So you have to understand that the moves are probably sometimes going to be a little bit erratic. So you wanna kind of play this if it's something that you can handle. Okay, so I'm looking for an $8 entry on this one. $7.50 stop, and I want to see if I can swing it if I get that entry, and if the chart obviously holds with confirmation of volume, I'm going to try to see if I can get it up to $9. CDK, next one on the list. Okay, so this one's holding the trend. Decent uptrend here for a while. Stochastics, MACD's cooling off, stochastics are cooled off. I think that the chart can actually just hover around here for a while. But what I do want you to see, obviously, its potential for a move over. And if the chart keeps holding on the trend, I think you can have a nice little push up and into probably, a new 52-week high there. So what I'd like to do on this one, it could be a little slower. You probably could see a few more dojis on it, but just be prepared for the move. So what I'd like to see is a $57 entry, which is at $57.66 right now. So I'm trying to get closer down to the 50 EMA. So that way you can kind of use that as the support area. The chart obviously kind of holds the 50 EMA as it works its way up. And obviously the volume's kind of weak on the market, whatnot. So, you try to catch positions that you want to catch on lighter volume days, and see if you can get them close to the areas that you want to pay the price you want to pay for it. So I want to try to get a $57 area here, do a 50-cent stop, $56.50, because obviously if it breaks the 50 EMA, you want to consider not being in the trade anymore. And then obviously you're going to use this trend line here as any area for an add if it comes over it, and then you first profit taken is here, and then you can let the chart go as long as it closes a candle over that high. CLLS. Okay, so this is a tightening wedge type trade. I gotta bring this one out a little bit more so you can kind of get a good picture of it. It's a tightening wedge. I like to play wedges like this, obviously, where they show me that they could bounce off the bottom. I like to play them at the bottom just to try to see if you can catch it, right? So if you do pick up this one here right at the bottom, obviously you're playing for that possibility of the wedge itself holding, which would make your entry very tight, right about $25.70. And you'd have to have a tight stop on it, because if it did break that wedge, if it did break that support, then you really have nothing else to go with. So if you did a $25.70 entry, you could do a tight stop on it. I'm not saying a 5 cents, 10 cent stop, but you can do a tight stop relative to the fact that if you do get the hole, you can push back up to the possibility of breaking out to the upside. Okay, chart's not doing much right now, but you're just playing for a possibility of it holding up here. And the last one on this week is Hrtg. Okay, so chart came over. Slowly grinding back down, retested the downtrend here, holding the uptrend over here. So I like this range sitting on its 50 EMA, fill this gap down here. Stochastics, MACD, everybody's cooled off, ready to go. There's no volume in the general market, so you find a lot of charts actually don't have a lot of volume right now. But you can still set them up for yourself and just, be ready for when something was to happen, right? So I like the support off of this area over here. I'd like to see a double bottom for a long. So it's right about $12.70, right into this area here. Should give you a base for that. So $12.70. You can have a tight stop because obviously you need this trend line here to hold. And if it holds and you get that $12.70 entry, tight stops on it and try to see if you can bring it back up to 14. So that's the list for this week. Um, safe trading, everybody. Just be careful. Manage your positions properly. Obviously, market volume is light, as I've been saying, and you want to just be on the right side of it. So, for you guys that do not follow me, this is my Twitter handle at Iceman Trading. There you'll find links to everything else that I'm into. Alright, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day.